Welcome back to the Hood Knees Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 21. We're doing week 4 studs and duds. I'm your host, Keem. I got with me MFB. And BBTB.
Still undefeated, baby. We working.
Yes, sir.
And we still benching 550, though.
All right, bro. That's enough out of you. Anyways, we're recording this, guys, on Sunday night. So the Monday games have not happened yet. So just so you guys are aware, minus the Monday games, but we'll see what happens then. Let's go ahead and start with the QB studs. Number 1, Justin Fields, man, went crazy, played, a good game. He ended up losing to the Colts, but he had 1 pass touchdown, 2 rush touchdowns. We told you guys on the waiver episode last week to pick him up. Do you guys see that production continuing? Do you see him booming like that again, or what?
Personally, I did not expect that man to go for 32 fantasy points. That was a crazy performance, but honestly, Colts defense isn't the best either. So does Justin Fields keep this up? I don't think he's going to drop another 32. So I think he'll dial it down, but he's obviously a great pickup.
Right.
I think next week they got Dallas, right? So, Dallas D hasn't been top tier form as we've seen.
Yeah.
But Fields, he did throw for 300 yards. It really depends on the coaching, right? And where does Russell Wilson fit in? Like at this point, if you're Mike Tomlin, are you saying, hey, I need to roll Russ out, or am I still going to roll Fields even after a good performance, but a loss?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens when Russell Wilson gets healthy. But still, great performance from Justin Fields. Next, we have Baker Mayfield. He had about 28.8 fantasy points. He bounced back. Last week, he didn't do so well. This week, fire against Eagles. He was also a waiver pickup, but he's been playing well, man. So, anything else? Anything on Baker Mayfield? Any thoughts?
Honestly, no. I felt like he was going to bounce back because Philly does give up points to the quarterback a lot. So I feel like Baker Mayfield was due for a bounce back. 28 points surprised me. I was assuming in between like 18 to 21, but you got him at 28 points. Solid.
Yeah. I kind of think the game against Denver was a bit of a fluke game because Denver's been playing pretty good defense. With Pat Surtain, just not allowing anyone to get the ball on him. That was just a bad performance that week. But I think he keeps up this production. Maybe not this high, but he keeps up good production, I think, going forward.
Yeah.
Next, we got Jordan Love. Came back, man, from injury and did well, dude. He had 28 fantasy points. He had, 4 passing touchdowns. He only rushed 1 time for 60 yards, but almost 400 yards in the air. He's a solid player if you picked him up later in the draft, and he's finally back. So good to see him back, honestly. Good to see him.
Fade the quarterback.
They still lost, but fade the quarterback, yeah.
Telling you, dude.
It worked for whoever had him.
No.
Anything else on Love?
Nah, he did throw 3 picks, which definitely kind of swayed the game.
Yeah.
But he was looking good out there, bro. He dished the ball a lot, bro. I think between 4 different receiving options, he spread it out like 22 completions to 4 different people across 4 different people, right?
Yeah.
And it was like an even spread. So he's just a very good distributor out there.
100%. The Minnesota defense is good. So three picks against Minnesota. Yeah,
Minnesota played a solid game, but the thing is, though, the first half the Packers looked horrible, and Minnesota looked like a Super Bowl contending team. And then I don't know what Matt LaFleur yelling at his guys at halftime came back and they started going crazy. Obviously, they lost, but they put up a good fight in that second half. So so I feel like Jordan Love's solid QB.
Yeah, going forward, as long as he doesn't get injured, man, he'll keep producing, I think. Next, we have a couple more. Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud. I'm kind of surprised with Lamar Jackson because a lot of that work this Sunday Night Football went through Derrick Henry, but Lamar Jackson did have a rush touchdown. He did well. But those three guys, Jaden Daniels has been playing great. He is the best rookie quarterback for sure.
I think one of us said on the podcast, or like before the season started, that Jaden Daniels was going to be a stud. And so he's living up to the hype, man.
Yes, sir. That was MFB. Took him in every league I could.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of rookies. There's a lot of really good rookies this year, but he's definitely in the running for like rookie of the year.
Oh, easily.
100%. Hey, Washington has a franchise quarterback. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Going forward,
he's just out there.
He's doing it. He's doing his thing. Yeah. Good for Washington, man. Yeah, he played well. Let's move on to wide receivers. At the top, Nico Collins, man, 27.1 fantasy points. He did his thing. Bounced back from last week. Last week they played Minnesota last week. That Minnesota defense is crazy. So we expected a bounce back for that offense. And, Nico Collins was the prime benefactor of that with 27 fantasy points. But you expect that in Nico Collins. We're expecting good games out of him. 27's a lot, but he did his thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely like the solidified.
Yeah, just about to say that.
Texans, right? So that kind of clears up everything that, it was looking a little murky preseason, but like 12 catches, 150 yards.
Yeah,
one
man,
touch,
crazy.
Yeah.
They are without Tank
I think
Dell.
like Diggs is there, but Diggs is like, he's a really good complement to the offense, to be honest. But Diggs is not like the target hog like I thought he would be.
Right.
Yeah.
And then thankfully it kind of turned into like somewhat of a shootout with the Jags. So it definitely helped Nico this week.
Yeah, 100%.
And then also the lack of, no Mixon definitely helps as well. But
no Mixon, no Tank Dell.
Solidified maybe like top 6-7 range receiver.
Oh, easily.
Value for rest of season.
Yeah, and I think Nico Collins has had over 100-yard receiving game since week 1 till now. He has not gone underneath 100 yards, so he's obviously the guy.
86 yards last week.
Oh, just kidding. But he's really close. But didn't he have a touchdown last week?
No, he didn't.
Oh, just kidding. But anyway,
all right, yeah,
he's the guy for sure, though. He's a stud. But like, he's really close. He's a stud. Easily.
Yeah, like I mentioned, no Tank Dell, no Joe Mixon, so we could see that production come down if those guys come back next week. But still, he's the number one there. Next, we have Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks, man, from the Packers, dude. These guys both. I mean, we had Jaden Reed 23.6 fantasy points, Dontavian Wicks 22.3. This is for half PPR scoring. Yeah, I mean, do you guys think these two guys kind of take over going forward in Green Bay, or like in terms of the receivers? Or
yeah, I think for sure, because we saw week 1, Jaden Reed was like the guy, especially for Love.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Love is back. Jaden Reed is back.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the top option. As far as the second option, which like I mentioned, like Jordan Love did distribute the ball a lot. It was Wicks who saw the end zone twice.
Yeah,
right?
13 targets for Wicks, man.
Yeah,
a ton of targets.
Yeah, exactly. So Wicks is definitely probably the guy. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but I thought it would be Dubes.
Me too.
Just because of his route participation, but
yeah,
it's Wicks, bro. So I mean, we'll cover it more in the waiver episode, but yeah, he did his thing.
The thing was with Romeo Doubs, I know he's not on this list, but he got stopped at the 1-yard line, and then Matt LaFleur had a unsportsmanlike conduct, and literally it put him back to the 16-yard line, and then they moved the ball all the way down, and pretty much I think Dontavian Wicks was pretty much the guy, so everything else pretty much went.
He looks like an end zone threat,
Yeah, but what I see going forward, though, is that Jordan Love is capable of throwing the ball to everyone. He doesn't have, like CJ Stroud, his guy's Nico Collins, Jordan Love, he can throw to any receiver. So if you do got that Romeo Doubs and those Wicks, I think they'll still get their fair share.
Yeah, I think against good offenses that really put up points against them, the receivers will produce. So keep that in mind if you're going to start these guys, if you're going to take a shot on one of them. Like if they're playing a good offense, then yeah, Jordan Love will try to come back and these guys will produce. Next, we got Jordan Addison on the list, 21.4 fantasy points. He finally came back, finally played. Sam Darnold got him the ball, got 2 touchdowns. Are you guys worried about Justin Jefferson's production with Addison there, or are they both just going to eat?
No, I'm not worried on Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson's still going to be Justin Jefferson, so I'm not really tripping.
I'm not too worried because honestly, bro, like the offense low-key is looking like the similar mold as last year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, and Kimo will never fail to remind me that I was so wrong on Sam Darnold. My bad, Sam Darnold.
Yeah, bro, the preseason, you were like, hey, bro, he looks
Sam
terrible.
Darnold's effing balling. I was a believer in JJ McCarthy, but
you were.
That's old news.
Hey,
right?
I mean,
Sam Darnold doing his thing.
Bro, if they keep this up, like, what do they do with McCarthy?
And he's pretty much like a Kirk Cousins 2.0, right? They just insert Sam Darnold. You know, JJ was eating last year, of course. Addison was eating too last year, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't see a lot of targets, but like he gets those long, deep threats and just capitalizes on them, right? And they even used him in like a rush touchdown today, which is really good production. Like you really like to see that. Out of receivers, they can capitalize, right? So he's definitely a weapon. It's good to see him healthy after the injury, right? Usually in fantasy, right? Like, let's say like I have Addison on my bench. He came off an injury. Do I want to start him? I don't know.
Right.
But if you had the guts to start him, it paid off this week for you.
Definitely. 100%. Yeah. No, Jordan Addison, I mean, we hope to see the production from him going forward. Next on the list, we got CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, both did well. 20.1 fantasy points for CeeDee Lamb Thursday night. He bounced back. Mike Evans, 19.4. He also bounced back after that terrible game against the Broncos. But that we've talked about Pat Surtain and how he covers receivers and things like that. So he usual Mike Evans, back to usual. Next, we have Brian Thomas, 18.9, Josh Downs, 18.2, and Deontay Johnson, 17.8. So of those 3 guys, I mean, which ones surprised you the most?
I'll be honest, man. It's Josh Downs. Just because I didn't think that he would, like, honestly, I'm not a big fan of Anthony Richardson because, like, I don't know, he's inaccurate with the ball and he loves to run the ball. And obviously we saw today he tried running the ball, got hurt. And so the backup was Joe Flacco. Even though Joe Flacco played solid the last couple games of the season, Joe Flacco's still doing Joe Flacco things. Like, I don't know,
Joe
Michael
Flacco
Pittman,
baby.
Dude, Michael Pittman came to life.
Savior of all Michael Pittman owners has arrived.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
So, Ben, if Joe Flacco's starting for the rest of the season, man, Colts receivers are on the come up, dude.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
To Kimo's question, I'm actually, not to toot my own horn, I'm not surprised about any of these guys, right?
Okay.
On being on this list right now. Brian Thomas, don't forget, I've been calling him out. I said this rookie I like a lot. And he's starting to get better week to week. Josh Downs I had on my sleeper list that I posted to the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of hits on my sleeper list this week. Couple of misses, but I had some hits. Josh Downs was one of them. So go check that out. I'll be updating it and I'll update it for week 5 as well. Deontay Johnson, I mean, he was seeing the bulk of the target share even with Bryce Young, right? So even within the old offense with with Bryce Young as QB, he still saw all the volume, right? And you follow that volume with the better QB, he's going to keep eating.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're seeing with Deontay Johnson. So,
Yeah. I mean, 14 targets last week for Deontay, 13 targets this week. So, yeah, he's going to keep doing that, and we hope for it. That's it for the receivers. Anything else on these guys?
No. Sean.
Cool. Let's move on to the running backs. We got King Henry at the top, 34.4 fantasy points. Started off the game first. Offensive possession for the Ravens. 87-yard touchdown to
that was
house,
crazy.
Man.
That was insane. Watch that.
That was a crazy way to start that game.
Dude, I didn't even, I turned on the TV and literally didn't even look at the kickoff. Ravens got the ball. I'm like, all right, cool. First play of the game. Man, Derrick Henry gone because I have him in 2 leagues. Man, that was crazy. Crazy feeling.
Yeah. Well, that was the Bills had the ball on the opening drive, I think, right? And then the Ravens got the ball, and then as soon as they got the ball, the Bills.
Bro, I literally turned on the TV the play right before Derrick Henry had that crazy 87-yard tutty.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Derrick Henry He's still King Henry, right?
Yeah.
He's doing his thing, man.
I mean, so this is what I was talking about. We talked about this in the preseason. We talked about being early on players or being late. Would you rather, and Derrick Henry was one of the candidates that we talked about, would you rather be early on Derrick Henry and fade him early, or would you rather be late and he stuck on your team and like you were late and he just, this is the week he went to crap. And for a lot of us, I was like, I'd rather be late on Derrick Henry because, and it shows that, you know, if you were one of the people that took him this year and he wanted to be late on Derrick Henry, he took that chance that he would still continue to produce. He's producing.
Oh,
I definitely liked Henry a lot in any draft. If I could grab him, I would have got him for sure. I was not shying away from Derrick Henry. Yes, I get he's old. It's scary to draft an old running back.
No, 100%.
But the fact of the matter is he was old last year. He looked fine. You put him in a better offense with the Ravens, he eating. You know, not to mention like the passing wasn't amazing for Ravens in general, and the Bills, they're tough to pass on, right? And we've said this time and time again, but they got ran on, right? By the King. So,
man, went crazy. Let's move on. DeAndre Swift, 26 fantasy points, man. I guess he showed everyone up because he was not doing anything for the last few weeks. People were talking about, what do we do with this guy? Is he even going to produce? The coach was talking about, oh, we're going to start working in Roschon Johnson because, you know, Swift isn't doing enough and Roschon Johnson's more efficient on the ground. And he just went crazy, bro.
Honestly, but I don't see Swift keeping this up because a lot of teams score on the Rams. Like last week, the Niners scored. Like, you know, Jordan Mason had or obviously Jordan Mason running the ball, Juwan Jennings doing his thing, but I don't know. I don't think
Carolina and then Jacksonville next,
but like
in the bye week.
I don't know. I don't see him keeping up this crazy performance, this little one time.
Right.
I think he'll dial it down to like low double digit scoring. So
do you sell him? If you have DeAndre Swift, do you sell him?
Not
or
yet.
Do you target him?
Target him just because the two matchups you said they play Carolina and who?
Jacksonville.
So I think he'll do solid against those teams. So use him, then you sell him after Jacksonville.
Yeah, he does have a bye week upcoming.
Or possibly try to buy him for lowish if you can for the next 2 weeks. Right? Alternatively,
he's gonna be hard to buy right now.
Yeah, he also had a lot of catches, bro. He had the most on the team.
7 receptions, seven targets.
So that definitely
yards.
Bumped up his stat line a lot. Even without 100%. That, still a very solid rushing day. They did Roschon got carries, just not, you know, he got a tud, but
he took his tud.
He swooped it.
He took it. I saw it.
But it wasn't.
Hey, the coach said they were going to give him more touches, so he wasn't lying.
Yeah, so the coach ain't lying fully.
Yeah,
but you know, it was an interesting game. We'll see how the Bears do if they improve like passing to their wideouts and whatnot.
Let's move on. Jordan Mason, 23 fantasy points. I mean, he's been the steal of the draft, took over. I mean, McCaffrey, and this news hadn't come out in our last episode, but McCaffrey saw a specialist in Germany. I'm sure you've all seen the news. They say he's going to be out for a few more months.
That's crazy.
I don't want to take too much time on this, but Jordan Mason, you're going to keep him if you have him. What do you do with CMC if you have CMC?
Honestly, it might be too late to trade him right now because I don't think anyone's going to want him after that kind of news. I traded CMC, by the way, for Henry before any of that news came out. So I pretty much got away with one, you know. But right now, if you got Jordan Mason, keep that dude on your team. Don't trade him. People are going to try to lowball you. CMC news, whatever news comes out, keep up to date, but keep Mason on your team. He's solid right now.
I think I don't want to spend too much time either, but to answer Kemo's question, and I've had a couple of people, come in the Discord and ask about CMC. What do I do? Who do I trade to? There's 2 teams you need to target to try to trade CMC. Number 1, those teams that are undefeated, right? Or have a very high record because they can afford for a later run in their season to make playoffs. And they might be like forward thinking like that. And number 2, obviously they have to be healthy. Right, they can't have no injured and empty slots, and they're not going to take another injured guy. So just keep that in mind. That's my advice to those who are trying to trade CMC away.
Join the Discord, guys, and ask questions about, should I take this trade for CMC? So we can tell you. We can't go over all the players that you can trade him for or who would you trade him for. Like, if we do that, this episode's going to take forever. So jump in the Discord, guys. Ask us. We'll respond. We're active in there. Let's move on. Chase Brown, the running along Zach Moss over in Cincinnati, 22.2 fantasy points. Did his thing, man. What do you guys think? Is he taking over? Is he just sharing and just really good? Or
I think he's just sharing, like, honestly, because last week was all Zach Moss and Chase Brown didn't really do much.
Yeah.
And then this week was Chase Brown. And I know Zach Moss got in the play, had that little receiving tutty, fought for that tutty. But it's kind of 50-50 right now, dude. Like, you can't really tell who's the guy. Like, Chase Brown looks solid, like a straight dog, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think they're split even on carries, 15 each.
Yeah.
This week it was split 15 each even. I think my outlook on this for preseason, right? Because this is one of the ambiguous backfields that we talked about before. And it's like, who do you put your chips on, Moss or Brown? I effectively put my chips on Chase Brown just because he's just a better prospect of a running back than Zach Moss is, right?
Right.
Now, obviously, weeks 1 through 3, the Bengals, they start Zach Moss. They just trust Zach Moss more. And until like Chase Brown can prove himself, which I think slightly last week he kind of did, right? With the carries that he had. And they increased his workload this week. I'm not going to say it's a complete Chase Brown takeover, at least not yet, but I think they start doing a more of a 50-50 split for sure now. And
that's what we that's what we saw today. So we'll see what happens. Let's move on. We got Kamara. Let's just go through the rest of these guys. Kamara's doing Kamara things. He's going to keep up that production as long as he stays healthy.
And he also got vultured twice. That's crazy.
Twice,
bro.
Yeah. We'll go over that.
And he's still
also, next we have Chuba Hubbard, 20.1 fantasy points. Jeremy McNichols, Brian Robinson, Justice Hill. McNichols is the backup behind Brian Robinson because Eckler was out, so they put this third stringer in, and he got 2 touchdowns, bro. He did well.
Yeah, I mean that game was like just Washington was looking.
Dude, I don't want to talk about that game. Let's not talk about that, please, bro. The Cardinals are so bad, bro.
Yeah,
Brian Robinson's there. I mentioned him.
Highly exposed, yeah. So
my God,
this
bro.
is probably
Cardinals
one of the most slept on offenses in fantasy, like preseason wise.
Yeah, 100%.
Like none of these players were drafted in the top. Like,
I mean,
with the exception of Jaden Daniels, maybe in 5th, 6th round, none of these players were around there.
I mean, bro, McLaurin was not doing well. Like the first 2 weeks, people were like not sure what to do with him, but he's been producing now. Jaden McDaniels kind of found his rhythm and found his groove and is starting to find his number 1 receiver. Justice Hill was in there too. I think most of that was garbage time because Derrick Henry. The Ravens took over that game and just completely ran over the Bills. That's it for running backs. Anything on those guys, or can we move into tight ends?
Oh gosh, do we have?
Yeah, the best position.
Tight ends.
Yeah. All right, let's move into tight ends real quick, guys. We don't want to spend time on tight ends anymore. This is probably the worst segment of this entire episode. Number 1, Taysom Hill, 2 rush touchdowns. He was injured last week, out, played this week. Took 2 touchdowns from Kamara, basically just vultured him like MFB said.
Let's hear the Saints fan, brother BBT.
Yeah,
no, listen. I was watching that entire game, right?
Where's Juwan Johnson, huh?
Hold up. So listen.
Your sleeper, tight end,
Taysom Hill was a straight dog, but the head coach does not understand to not abuse this homie. This homie was playing slot, tight end, fullback, and running back. Like literally, he was like in the game for a lot of time.
He's trying to take
he's Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, bro. Literally,
but I understand. No, I understand. But at the same time, look what happened. Now he's out. He didn't return back to the game. He might even have a worse injury that he had last week. Now we don't have our Swiss Army knife. So,
bro, they just abuse him. Hey, get in there and get some touchdowns for us. Get us a dub.
I mean, he's a stud, but like it's too much.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Anyways, or can spend more time on that.
Who else got
crazy?
Tucker Kraft. Jordan Love found him.
Jordan Love.
My sleeper list. Tucker Kraft.
On the sleeper list, guys, in the Discord, go pay attention, guys. We post these weekly sleeper lists for deeper leagues. Pat Freiermuth, Justin Fields found him in the end zone. I mean, these basically, if they score a touchdown, they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Jordan Kittle, 5 balls, you're good, brother. You're tight end,
bro. I mean, all these guys. You got George Kittle, Pat Freiermuth, Tucker Kraft, Taysom Hill with 2 touchdowns, and then we have Travis Kelce finally had a decent.
Didn't I not call it last week? I said, Travis Kelce's bounce back.
look,
Also,
bro,
to mention, big news: Rashee Rice, possible ACL tear. I think I don't know. But very
Rashee Rice had a terrible injury.
Yeah,
Kelce stock probably going up.
Kelce, baby, I told you, Kelce owners hold that homie. He's going to be solid throughout the rest of the season.
With Rashee Rice possibly out for the season with ACL, guys, keep up with the news. Pay attention to that. We'll talk about it on our episode when we go over the next week's matchups. The news will probably be out by then once they do the MRI. But yeah, if Rashee Rice is out for the season, Travis Kelce is going to see a lot more targets. The targets have to go somewhere. There's no one else in that offense besides that rookie Xavier Worthy. But you know, Kelce is who Mahomes trusts, and they've played together for years now. So, yeah, finally a bounce back week for Kelce. So Kelce owners can, you know, breathe a sigh of relief. I mean, straight up, bro. He's one of the first tight ends off the board, and he finally produced. We're still waiting on Laporta.
No, we still waiting on Mark Andrews, brother, the left tackle.
Oh, we'll talk about him. Left tackle. Yeah, like I said, guys that are listening, we're recording this on Sunday night, so we have not gone over the Monday night matchups yet. So we'll talk about that later in another episode. Let's move on to duds. We're done with the studs. QB, I'm going to just start with Matt Stafford. If you're starting him, you're probably not starting him in any league.
Do not start him.
We have less than 5 fantasy points. He has no weapons.
Not surprised. We mentioned this last week. Obviously, no Cooper Kupp, no Puka. Yep. Chicago pass D is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Not surprised. This is as expected.
Yeah, he has no weapons. You cannot start Matt Stafford without Puka or Cooper Kupp. Like without either of those guys, definitely not. Anthony Richardson, 5.24 fantasy points. He got injured that game. Joe Flacco came in, took over. Check on his status, guys. If he's out next week, you may have to pick up another QB and start him.
The report I read earlier is that he should miss little to no game time. That's what was said.
Okay, I think everyone that has receivers from the Colts is hoping it's more time rather than less time.
Real talk, bro. Probably the receivers themselves are hoping it's
easily.
Hey, bro, Pittman was probably hyped. Woo! Finally got some catches.
He looked good.
Yeah. Everyone looks good with a competent, you know, thrower out there. Anyways, Josh Allen, 7.3 fantasy points. The Ravens just dominated the Bills. They couldn't do anything out there. I don't see that happening again for Josh Allen. Just a bad week.
Yeah, bad week.
Sorry if you have him. Yeah, you probably lost this week because of that. But sorry, guys.
I had him, but I didn't lose. But anyway,
I have him, and I'm whooping in a league. So yeah. Sometimes you just have a good team. Kyler Murray, 9.98 fantasy points. Yeah, didn't do
a very surprising one to me, bro.
Yeah,
I expect him to go crazy.
Everybody knows, like, before this, in our preview episode, I literally said, yo, Washington gives the most points to QBs.
Mm-hmm. And they have been consistently.
And they have been, right? Until, I guess, this week. But, bro, I thought Kyler, you know, would feast upon Washington, as everybody has been.
Idiot.
Yeah.
So...
Bro, what the hell?
No Trey McBride. Did the whole offense break down without McBride?
Bro, hey, you know what? We need to trade this fool. All right, I'm over him. All right, Kyler Murray. Unless you can bounce back next week, bro, you need to leave the Cardinals. Bro. You're bad for the organization, bro. Yeah. You're not getting anyone the ball. You barely got Marvin Harrison the ball once for a touchdown, and then you just took the day off. Congratulations, bro. Against the worst pass off defense in the league, you had 9.98 fantasy points. Excellent. Fantastic.
We've been saying for weeks that Washington defense is bottom 5 pass defense for a long time. So Kyler is not producing against that team. I'm so sorry.
He plays SF next week. If he doesn't bounce back, he's cut.
He's not bouncing back against SF, bro.
I'm going to John. I'm going again, and I'm telling him cut him. Next, we have Caleb Williams, the rookie, way worse than Jaden Daniels. Yeah, he sucks. They gave him all the weapons. Even Keenan Allen was back. Didn't do anything with him. Aaron Rodgers didn't do so well. Denver defense has been stepping up, man. They played the Broncos. And the Broncos have been doing good, bro. Pat Surtain is locking receivers down, or locking them up, I should say. And yeah, man, that was just, I'm going to chalk that one up to a good defense for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and apology on my take for the Garrett Wilson take. I thought he'd be crazy, but PS2 is just a dog.
Yeah, so yeah, if you guys listen to the preview episode, we did think that he came up with some weird conspiracy that Robert Saleh would play him in the slot and then he would just produce from there. Anyways,
didn't work.
Bad take by BBTB. He apologized. Let's move on. Mahomes also dudded 13 fantasy points. You can decide whether or not that's a dud. For Mahomes, it's a dud. Mahomes should be doing better than that.
We expect more. He lost Rashee Rice, though. That was like the biggest KC producer for sure.
Yeah,
it is. But the thing is, I understand that they lost Rashee Rice, but at the same time, before when they had Rashee Rice, he was still a stud, dude. 20, 25 fantasy points, like doing his thing. Like, bro, for a third round like pick, like, dude, this is not looking good. I don't know, man.
You're saying he wasn't producing before. Yeah, he was not producing even with Rashee Rice healthy before. So this is bad news for Mahomes. I mean, if you have him,
no, I'm talking about like from years ago, like years like 2020.
Yeah, no, this year he has not been
got on the team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
like 2022, 21.
I'm talking about this year. I was saying the kind of the inverse. This year, he has not really been producing for a quarterback he took in the third round.
Exactly.
The most fantasy points he has this year is 16.38. That's not what you expect out of Mahomes. And they haven't had a lot of like very difficult match. Atlanta's a good defense. The Chargers have been pretty solid on defense. Cincinnati has not been the best.
It's the refs, bro. It's the refs.
That's how they're winning games. Him to win. Mahomes getting exposed, bro. So if you took him early in the draft, I'm sorry. That's why what do you do with the QB?
Fade the QB every time.
There you go, bro. He said it. He said it again. Let's move on. Receivers. Brandon Ayuk sucks. SF needs to cut him. I don't know why they this fool.
I think.
I don't think. Okay, I know he sucks.
All right, he sucks. Let's just move on.
I'm down. He's talking to the right. I have him in this game.
Man. I think the defense scored a TD early, right? And like
they did.
They didn't really need to like be throwing the ball and targeting. Like they kind of just ran on the Patriots, bro. Give Jordan Mason the ball. Let him run.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's give Ayuk more excuses. Yeah.
No, honestly, I can't blame Ayuk for this game. I can't. Patriots are horrible.
Right. I think he's a good buy low candidate this week, if you ask
me. I mean, no, I agree. I'm playing. I have him in a league. It's frustrating. He hasn't, he's been doing pretty poorly the last 4 weeks. He's not been producing the way that people drafted him early. Some people drafted him, like pretty much being the third round.
He had a lot of hype.
Yeah. I mean, people were like super high on him. So anyways, good buy low candidate. You guys agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would say so for sure.
100%.
Okay. No, I'm with that. Let's move on. Amari Cooper, 5.5 fantasy points. I think I said this last week. Amari Cooper doesn't perform in away games.
No,
he didn't perform.
But listen to this real quick. Amari Cooper had a 70-yard or 60 to 70-yard catch. Touchdown called back. And then he dropped the open pass that was like I think early in the first or second quarter, like 30, 40 yards. He was wide open and just dropped it. So Amari Cooper should have performed, but I think just unlucky. Really unlucky.
So Amari Cooper's been duds week 1, week 2, week 3, he was a stud. And then week 4, he's a dud candidate, right? Do you buy him now? People are probably scared to pay Washington, Philly, Cincinnati, which might be tough, and then Baltimore, which is normally been pretty good again.
I think if you like really need a receiver, right? And you can't pay for like, a Zay or a Lave type of tier, and you want like a lower tier, you buy Amari Cooper. I think it's a good solid option for you to get.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Decent buy low candidate. Garrett Wilson, he was covered by Pat Surtain. We kind of saw this coming.
We expect Garrett Wilson. Called it out. Predicted.
We mentioned it, yeah. We talked about it. Anyone that plays against Pat Surtain has taken an L. No one's really been able to. He's done the best.
He's legit.
Fantasy points. He's crazy. Keenan Allen, I threw him in there just because he's back and he sucks. Let's move on.
I'm not surprised. We can move on. Just real quick, like I'm not surprised. I think it's a rotating cast of who's going to perform with the Bears this week. DJ Moore got the tutty. Last week, Roma Dunze going crazy. Maybe next week it's Keelan Allen. Who knows? Find out in week 5.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the preview. We'll talk about the previews. Zay Flowers didn't produce. They didn't need to throw that game. They had 15 throws in that game. So
I think I mentioned in this episode, it's tough to throw on the Bills, bro. They have, really good 2-man high coverage.
Yeah. So Zay Flowers, let's hope he bounces back next week. Who do they play next week? Do you guys know?
Ravens. You gotta check that.
They play.
You'll beat me to it. Cowboys?
Seeing it here. No.
Just kidding. Bengals.
They play the Bengals.
Yes, Bengals. Yes, correct.
If it's a shootout, he'll probably eat next week. But yeah, they didn't need to throw this game. They just destroyed the Bills. So
easily.
King Henry went crazy. Romo Dunze, I threw him in there because he had a very good game last week. So like MFB just mentioned with the Bears, it's just going to be rotating who performs, who booms, right? And you can't really trust Caleb Williams. He hasn't been a really good performer. So maybe bench some of these guys unless you don't have a choice, bench them until they produce and consistently. That's it for wide receiver duds. Let's move on to the RB duds. Taking from the top with Ramondre Stevenson, 6.2 fantasy points. He didn't do good last week and didn't do good this week.
You should have not played him this week. He should have never been on. If you flex him this week after his performance of last week, you're an idiot. I'm so sorry. Like, don't. That offense is trash. Jacoby Brissett, I don't think has broken 170 passing yards in any of his games yet. Like, he's not.
They don't have weapons. They just don't have it.
I don't know. Try to when Ramondre pops off, if he does one game, sell him. That's all I could tell you.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with that. He was my RB fade of the year. We all agreed. He did good the first 2 games, but now he's had a fumble every game. 4-game streak fumble.
Yeah, I heard that stat. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he's been fumbling, and that's, bro, if that was Bill Belichick, he would have been 3rd string RB right now.
Easily.
A fumble a game, he would have been like, nope, to the back you go. Straight up. I mean, it's just, terrible play from Ramondre, and not what you hoped when you drafted him. James Cook, 5.3 fantasy points. They got dominated that game. I see James Cook bouncing back.
Yeah, that was just I think before the game, I definitely expected him to do better. This game, they were behind early so much, so they couldn't really just keep running whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
I think he's a great buy low candidate if people see James Cook. If you don't got intelligent people in your league.
If they didn't watch the Sunday Night Football game,
try to somehow.
You heard it here, folks. If you got dumbasses in your league,
go steal,
hit them up.
Go finesse.
Try to be
James Cook.
Try to be professional. Professional. Yeah. Chilling.
Anyways, next we got Cam Akers, who's supposed to step in for Joe Mixon. Didn't do the job. They had some other 3rd stringer get the touchdown for him. I don't even know how to say his name.
Ogwunga Bale.
Yeah, we need to cover that. I'm gonna have that up for me. But, Cam Akers he's not that good. Clearly, hopefully Mixon comes back next week. Singletary Thursday night did not perform against Dallas, who's been allowing a lot of yards on the ground. So I don't know what happened.
Just
not surprised. MFB called it. BBTB didn't.
Honestly, I'm not tripping about calling it, but just to let the viewers know, I had some crazy traded Devin Singletary for Puka Nacua. I hyped up Devin Singletary as if he was Derrick Henry. So the guy took it. The guy's not pretty much.
So you heard it here first. And remember from the last episodes, if you can finesse a homie,
finesse a homie. Exactly.
Do it. Yeah. Take what you can.
Exactly.
Singletary didn't do well. He's got some tough matchups upcoming. So do you sell him now and just kind of show his last 2 games, the 14 points, 16.8 points, and say, hey, look, he can do it again.
Sell him as if he's Derrick Henry.
Try and pretend
he's not a league winner.
Camry, put a Ferrari badge on it.
They're playing against Seattle in Seattle next week, and then they play the Bengals, then Philadelphia, and then Pittsburgh. So not a very good schedule upcoming. Get rid of him while you can. Zamir White has been trash all year. I don't even know if we need to put his name on the.
Do you cut him? I would cut him.
I think Zamir White is cuttable. You can.
If it's some multiverse where I drafted Zamir White, which I didn't in any league, I would have cut him by now, bro.
He's droppable in bro. Yeah, he's terrible. He's absolutely cheeks. They play Denver next week. Good luck. And then Pittsburgh. Good luck.
Yeah.
And then the Rams who knows if they have Puka back? Good luck. And then Kansas City, yeah, bro, they drop that homie.
Yeah, he's droppable for sure. I was high on him all year, but guess not.
Yeah, remember who was high on him? This guy right here. This guy.
Whoa, I was high.
Anyways, Zamir White will be on this. We will no longer include Zamir White on this list. He's a droppable candidate. He's no longer on the duds list. He's not a startable RB.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Zamir White, we have Breece Hall, 2.8 fantasy points, man. I was just a good defense.
A little bit worrisome for me. Let me tell you why.
Okay. Talk to us.
Braylon Allen was eating a lot of the workload, right? So I'm not afraid of Breece Hall as a talent. As a talent, great, right?
Sure.
But man, it's kind of worrisome to see another RB kind of eating into the workload, bro.
It is, yeah.
100%.
And it's tough when these teams they draft a rookie, they bring him in, and then they start working him in. Like we're seeing that with Bucky Irving. Yeah. They're working him in with Rachaad White over in Tampa, and we're seeing it with Braylon Allen, which we didn't think because, I mean, bro, you're talking about Breece Hall. He's a dog. So, like, why would they even consider bringing in
So Breece Hall owners are probably like, damn.
Hey, this is why you insure your running backs, man.
All I'm saying is I thought of that. I thought about Braylon Allen, traded Breece Hall away for a Chain and Kelsey, and I think I'm coming through with the trade. But obviously, we don't know how.
You just want to feel good about that trade, man. We know.
No, it's a great trade, but we just got to see how a Chain does, obviously, tomorrow, and then when Tua comes back. But I feel great.
Sure. The Jets, I mean, they played a good Denver defense. They're playing Minnesota next week. Good luck. Then they play Buffalo, and they play Pittsburgh. So this will be some true tests for them, especially for Breece Hall. So if you have him, I don't know if you sell him. We'll talk about that in other episodes. Carson Steele, I just want to put this out there. He got negative 0.9 fantasy points. He fumbled, and they said, you're out of the game, brother.
Throw him in the trash, bruh.
That's how you're supposed to. Because he was a pickup.
And play.
Yeah, good. And that's how it should be for running backs. Yeah, bro.
Throw him in the trash.
He fumbled, I think, on his first run, and he had negative 9 yards, fumbled. Yeah, bro. Or no, it was he had like a few yards and then fumbled, so he got -2. But yeah, negative 0.9 yards, bro.
It's looking to be the Kareem Hunt show. So if you picked up Kareem Hunt,
yeah, good stuff.
Now you know. Yeah, 100%. No, for sure. And then we got that's it for the RBs. Anyone else that we didn't mention?
No, Carson Steele's dropping. By the way, drop.
Yeah,
Carson
you can drop Carson Steele.
Don't start him.
He's pretty much worthless. On to the tight ends, the best position in fantasy football. Mark Andrews with 0 fantasy points. He is now the number 1 blocker.
It's crazy.
Going forward, you can go ahead and drop Mark Andrews to the waivers.
Dropping is crazy. Dropping?
Is he droppable?
I would.
Let's talk. Okay. Look, let's not take too much time on this because he's been a dud, I think, every week, except week 2 maybe. But, he's been pretty much a dud almost every week. Do you drop him?
Look, I was fading the tight ends all year. If you did not fade the tight end, I'm so sorry, but take the hood needs advice. Fade the tight end. Mark Andrews is a left tackle. That man is not a tight end.
He dropped a catch, or he dropped a pass. He got the ball passed right to him, and he just went whoop and just dropped it.
And then they made him block after.
Yeah, they were like, hey, get back to blocking, brother. That's your position. Straight up. Yeah, I don't know
bro.
what.
I mean, I'm not dropping. I'm probably just putting him on the bench, bro, and saying, "Hey, bro,
brother, I'm gonna be honest. If you're the number 2 waiver pick, and number 1's in front of you, drop that homie and hope the number 1 guy uses waiver pick on him, bro. Because he's, in my opinion, bro, he's just a bomb, ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
Wait for him if you want. If you have the space on your bench, bro, just wait for him to pop off. Going forward, I don't start Mark Andrews with confidence.
Easily.
I'm looking for other options. I'm looking for other options.
I feel even if back-to-back donuts,
bro, back-to-back
single targets,
bro. Yeah, one target, drop the target. Yeah, I saw that. He dropped one right through his hands, bro. He's a tackle. He's a left tackle. Wait for him to pop off. Sell him if you can. We have Kyle Pitts, 0 fantasy points. Pitts has been the biggest disappointment.
Brighter news. Kyle Pitts with 0, but 3 targets at least.
Slightly more target share, but dude, Kyle Pitts has been a huge disappointment. He's never going to break out.
It's been 4 years.
He's never going to break out.
He hasn't broken out. It's been 4 years.
That's game over.
Listen, my boys and to the viewers. The definition of insanity is repeating the same experiment over and over and expecting for results.
Hey, he got less fantasy points than Juwan Johnson. Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the Albert Einstein of fantasy.
Got less points than Pitts and Mark Andrews.
Who?
Yeah, so Mike Gesicki had negative 0.4 fantasy points. Look, guys, going forward, we're not even going to suggest.
I told you I'm done with this tight end.
We're not even going to suggest players. We're not going to suggest players to pick up for tight ends anymore. Good luck. That's what we're going to tell you going forward. Good luck with your tight end. Because
I'll still post some sleepers.
Yeah, sure. You do that. I'm not going to tell you to start anyone in the tight end position with confidence. Nobody. There's just there's like nobody. It's bad. I mean, Travis Kelce, George Kittle, sure, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. It's a toss up every week. Brock Bowers, 4.1 fantasy points without what's his name? Devontae Adams was ruled out. He had a hamstring injury on Thursday, and he's week to week. We expected Brock Bowers to eat. You know what I mean? It's like he's going to take some more targets. He did not eat. In fact, he ate crap and did nothing. 4.1 fantasy points in the grand scheme of things isn't that bad, but he only had 3 targets. He had a rush attempt for some reason. I don't know what the Raiders are doing, bro. I just keep Brock Bowers if you have him and just keep hoping for better games. I don't know. Tight ends just suck this year. That's all there is to it. Back to Pitts real quick. Do you just wait for him to pop off and then sell him, or what do? Do you drop him to the waivers?
No, just wait. I mean, if there isn't a better tight end to play him. But I wouldn't drop him.
I'll say this for the tight ends. It's not like you're gonna drop him because the reality is in every league you have to start a tight end, right? Yep. Unless you're in some special different type of league with different format. But every standard league you have to start a tight end. That means every other teammate or league mate needs to start a tight end as well. So maybe somebody will hope for him and you could trade, right?
There you go. Wait for him to have a decent game.
On the bench and wait. You don't trust him yourself to do that. But there's some trade value within them.
Yeah, and hey, sell him to someone else. Maybe someone else thinks these guys are going to bounce back. Oh, they're going to break out this week, whatever. And then just be like, yeah, sure. And then just sell it to him for, whatever extra position, an extra flex, whatever. But yeah, tight ends just are terrible this year. That's about all I had. Did I miss anything, guys? Anything else you guys want to talk about? You guys want to talk about Zamir White some more? Maybe? No?
Nah, nothing, man. Just
all right. That'll do it for the studs and dads of week 4. Tune in next time. We'll talk about waivers. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Yeah.
Keep the Discord.
Peace.
Oh yeah, join the Discord.
Oh yeah, it's Discord in there.
Yep. See you guys. All right.
Peace.